Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Welcome, my dear friends and students, to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad, in Chaitanya Studio of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad. I am welcoming you in the video lecture series. Today we discuss this subject titled Financial Market. This subject is very important in nature. While you are studying management, while you are studying commerce, while you are studying, we can say, the how to deal with the different aspects of the business, at that point of time, my dear friends, you required money. And for the economic system, for the financial system of a country, we have to study what are the financial markets over there. And in that, my dear friends, in this unit, our learning objective is to evaluate the concept and function of financial market. Then, the nature and importance of money market. In this, with the beginning of this session, the first part is introduction. You are fully aware that the business unit have to raise short-term as well as long-term funds, or we can say the finance, to meet their working and fixed capital requirements from time to time period. And this is, my dear friends, necessity, not only the ready availability of such funds, but also a transmission mechanism with the help of which the provide of funds, that is, we can say that the investors or the lenders can interact with the borrowers or users, that is your particular business unit, and transfer that fund to them as and when it required. This aspect is taken care of by the financial market, which provide a place where or a system through which the transfer of fund by investors or lenders to the business unit is adequately facilitated. Thus, we can say that, my dear friends, financial market play an important role in management system also, and we can say the financial system. Moving forward to the journey of financial market, we have to define what is the meaning. My dear friends, we know that the money always flow from surplus sector to deficit sector. That means the person having excess of money lend it to those who need money to fulfill their requirements. Similarly, in a business sector, the surplus money flow, we can say the surplus of that particular money from investor or lender to the businessman, we can say the borrower or user, for the purpose of production or sale of goods or services, so that we find the two different groups. One who have the invest their money or lend that money, and other who the borrow that money or use that money. So here we conclude with that there is a direct relationship of whom? That is lender and borrower, or investor or user. So now you think that how these two groups meet and transact with each other. The financial market, my dear friends, act as a link between these two different groups. If we can say that the one group is not adequate or not give that money to the user at that point of time, this link is abolished or destroyed in nature. So it facilitates this function by acting as an intermediary between the borrowers and lenders of that money. So financial market may be defined as a transmission machine or mechanism between the investor or lender and borrowers or users through which the transfer of fund is facilitated. It consists of individual investors, financial institutions and other intermediaries who are linked by a formal trading rules and communication network for that trading at the various financial assets and credit instrument. So my dear friends, here we can say that the lender and borrowers playing the key role in financial market transaction, or we can say in the financial market. After defining that the meaning of financial market, we have to evaluate which are the function of that financial market. So my dear friends, the first function of financial market is to provide for interaction between the investors or lender and the borrowers or user. It provides pricing information resulting from the interaction between the buyers and sellers in the market when they trade the financial assets. It ensures that the liquidity by providing a mechanism for an investor to sell the financial asset in appropriate time or when it requires. It ensures the low cost of the transaction and information. So my dear friends, after evaluating this function, that meaning or definition or the introduction part of financial market, we think and we know that the how financial market play an important role to defining or growth of the country, or we can say the economic system also, to provide the finance in easy way. So financial market, my dear friends, play a vital role. So we evaluate it in this manner that investors and borrowers are the main feature of financial market. Or we can say that if these two groups are not there or not in adequate place at that point of time, we are in a hurdle position. Or we can say that our business unit quite at insecurity level. For expanding a business, for developing the new feature in a business unit, the money is required. And when we don't have the sufficient money over there, at that point of time, we require that particular market that gives us a money. And then we expand ourselves. That is the business unit. So, my dear friends, here the investors and borrowers both are playing an important role. So, the monetary term or money is an important or essential for expanding our business unit. Moving forward in the journey of financial market, my dear friends, then we refer or we can say that what are that nature and role of financial system, because the nature and the role to play and role according to that nature and functions is very important in a nature. The financial system play the key role, or we can say the important role in the economy by stimulating economic growth, influencing economic performance of the actors. So that is a particular sector also. Then affecting economic welfare. This is achieved by the financial infrastructure in which entities with the fund allocates those funds to those who have potentiality, more productive way to invest those funds. And a financial system makes it possible by the more efficient transfer of fund. So, my dear friends, for the economic growth, for the development of the country, for the development of the infrastructure, the financial intermediaries are playing an important role in nature. And to provide funds is also an important point over there. After that, according to the structural approach, there are the main two approaches are there, my dear friends, structural approach and functional approach. According to the structural approach, the financial system of an economy consists with the three main components. In that, my dear friends, the first component is that the financial market. Then financial intermediaries, that is ultimately we can say the financial institutions. Then financial regulators. That, my dear friends, each these three component, that is financial market, financial intermediaries, or we can say the financial institution and financial regulators. These three play a specific role in the economy. And if I define a relationship, so there is a linkage between these three components. There is an important aspect that the financial market is there, but the institution is not there for providing money and lend that money, then how can that financial market can be the run in an efficient manner? And if they are providing it at that point of time, at that point of time you required some regulation. That regulator are also there. So there is a clean linkage between these three components, that is financial market, financial intermediaries and financial regulators. Then my dear friends, according to the functional structure, or we can say the functional approach of financial market, it facilitates the flow of funds in order to finance investments by corporation, governments and individuals. The financial institutions are the key player in financial markets, as they performs the function of intermediation and thus determine the flow of funds over there. So the financial regulator are performance, or we can say the perform the role of monitoring and regulating the participation in the financial system. So we can conclude it with that these three function, which three my dear friends? Financial market, financial intermediaries or financial institution, then financial regulators are the main important function to give that relationship. There are the key linkage over there. So ultimately my dear friends, we can say that the structural approach of that financial system is important in a nature, and for that we have to regulate ourselves according to it. Yes or no? So these are the important rules. These are the nature of that financial system, my dear friends. And into that financial system, the financial market play an important role. Then we define that structure of financial market or financial system. That there is this chart is defined that the firm, that is a totally linkage between the banking sector and government. It provides, or it concluded, or it that invest in which sector, that is a stock market, bond market and short term fixed securities. So ultimately what my dear friends, they get that money in easy manner. Yes or no? So if we don't invest, then how one can use it? So there is a relationship, there is a direct relationship, we can say that, between that firm and banking sector and government, to evaluate it and to evaluate that function also, that is financial market, financial institution and financial regulators. Yes or no? So this is defined that the structure of financial system. Then my dear friends, any transaction related to financial instrument includes at least the two parties. The first party, that the party that has agreed to make future cash payment, and it is called as the issuer. If the one is issuer, then second is definitely investor. So the party that owns the financial instrument and therefore the right to receive that payment made by the issuer is called as an investor. So these two parties are important to define the transaction related to financial instrument. the financial assets provide the following, we can say, the key economic functions over there. First, they allow the transfer funds, that the transfer of that funds from those entities who have surplus funds to invest to those who need that fund to invest in tangible asset. So if you have that surplus fund, then you have to invest in that manner. And second is, my dear friends, they redistribute the unavoidable risk related to the cash generation amongst deficit and surplus economic unit. So here we can say that, my dear friends, that three function of this structural approach is important at that point of time when we deal with that financial asset. So these two are also the important. If you have that surplus fund, then you have to give that fund to those person who need it, that fund, and they wanted investment in tangible assets. So moving towards the different approaches over there, my dear friends, and we can say that these funds are the very important in nature. At that point of time, what we needed first? One, we can say that that is a once we can say that the issuer is important, and second point of time that we defined that the investors are important. So where we can say that financial market play an important role in a nature? Yes or no, my dear friends? If we taking a very simple examination, that this is what the investors over there, the money lenders over there. But according to that money lender, my dear friends, the borrowers are very in a huge meaning, or very in a, we can say that the very in a high in a nature, the more flexibility over there. So these two are the different. So we have the investors are less, but the borrowers are the very in a huge level, or very high level. The number of borrowers are more as compared to the investors. And if you link them at that point of time, what you required first? That is nothing but you have to require a financial market over there. And as per that requirements, my dear friends, the financial system is important in a nature. And to evaluate that financial system, we have to deal with the different approaches. That is nothing but we can say that the financial system is an important, that is structural and the functional over there, the functional approach. So when we deal with that structure, in that the firm is important, the banking sector is important, the government is important. So we can easily connect them with the structural approach over there. That is, first is what we have, the financial market over there. Second is financial institution or intermediaries over there. Then the financial regulators over there. Yes or no? So this is what, my dear friends, we can say that the one cannot do that duty, or one cannot play an important role to define it. So the relationship and the linkages between them is an appropriate in a nature. And at that point of time, my dear friends, we require that adequate financial system, and thus we required a particular institution, particular market over there. In that, the two other markets are also there, that is a money market and financial market or capital market, primary market and secondary market over there. So this is what, my dear friends, ultimately do that. What are that linkages? And there the relationship is an important in nature. Thus we can say that the financial market play an important role while you defining your adequate and appropriate financial system over there. And I can say that in any country's financial system, or any country's the growth, development, this type of markets, this type of intermediary or institution or regulators are play an important role. And for that, my dear friends, we have to learn this in appropriate manner. So firstly, we can define it. What are that the particular reasons to evaluate or the develop that financial market in a nature? Then in this journey, we defined that what are their the meaning over there to define with the financial system to particular market. Then financial market, we defined that the relationship between the lenders and borrowers, investors and the users over there. And according to that, we defined that the financial assets are the most important feature in the financial system. And thus we defined what the nature and role of that financial system. In that, my dear friends, we defined there is a two approaches over there. The first approach is a structural approach and second is a functional. The functional is mainly related with the financial assets transaction, or we can say the investors transaction. The first is those are the issuance and the investors over there. In the structure, we define that the three main important functions over there for the financial economic, that is financial market, financial institution, or we can say the financial intermediaries. And third is what, my dear friends, the financial regulators also there. And each of these play a specific role in the financial system and financial economic for the growth of financial economics or economics in nature, for the development of that country, for the growth of that country. It play an important and a key role, and these three are play a specific role over there. Then we define the transaction related to the financial instrument, that is first is issuer and second is investors over there. Yes or no, my dear friends? Then we defined what are the financial assets to be there in a definite period, or what we can say that the in an easy manner, which can be the easily appropriate in a nature, which can be the cash generation amongst that deficit and surplus of that particular economic units also. Then if you have the surplus of fund or surplus money, then you have to give that money to those who want those who need that fund to invest in a tangible assets are likely to be there. So after this journey, you have to evaluate yourself. Evaluation determines with the three aspects, that is a long question, short question and multiple choice question. and then you required some more references, so you can refer other books also. So first long question you have to do that. Write a detailed note on financial market functions. Then discuss nature and role of financial system. In a short question, my dear friends, you have to define financial market. And second question is how the financial system affect the financial market. In a multiple choice question, the first question is dash that which market provides the facility for interaction between the investors and borrowers, or we can say the lenders or users. So financial market mix and provide a facility over that. Then which may be, this dash may be the defined as the transmission mechanism between the investors or lender to the borrowers or user through which the transaction of funds is facilitated. That is the financial markets over there, my dear friends. And after that, if you want to refer the books for the further reading, then these are the books that you can use for your further reading also. Hope you learn well in this manner, and hope you learn the financial market in an easy manner that adequate for your knowledge in the management course. Have a great day, my dear friends. Thank you very much.